Hello and welcome to Edupedia World. This tutorial is the last installment of list collection. It is part 4. In this video, we'll be concentrating on two important aspects. One thing is that we'll be trying to write a code for doing sorting on our list. And secondly, we'll be doing or studying the differences between array list, linked list, and vector class. So let's begin. Okay guys, so this is our ArrayList demo class from the previous tutorial. Let's try to implement the sort method on this class. Just before implementing the sort method, let me also try to add some of the more elements into it. Okay, so I have added 5 elements. Now let me comment this out as if I don't need this. And let me try to call the collections class sort method and let me pass my array list inside it. Once it's sorted, let me print my array list. Now to print your array list, you can either use a for each loop or you can use a iterator. As of now, I am using a for each loop. So you see, using for each loop, actually I am printing my array list. Just to show you, the difference before sorting and after sorting. Let me try to print it before sorting as well, and then let me also try to print it after sorting. Now let's run our code. So you see, before sorting, the way it is inserted is actually the way it is printed. So that means your array list actually maintains the insertion order. So although I firstly added first, but then I replaced the first element that is on the 0th index with the second. Thereby the first element moved to the second position, and then third, fourth, and fifth. And this order is something which is after sorting. You can see, as per the sorting, first, fifth, then first, and fourth, second, and third. Fine. So this is a simple sorting. Instead of having an array list of string, what if I have an array list of some my own predefined class? To show that, let me create my own class. The name of the class that I am creating is student. Then this is having int row number and string name. For simplicity, let's keep only two things. Okay. Now let me create a constructor of student. So you see, I have even created a constructor. Now changing this array list to contain an array list of a string, let me change this array list to contain student. So this array list will be of type student. So it is same thing, the way you create an array of a particular class, like I might have created an array of a student, in the same way you can create the array list of a student. Now this array list cannot simply contain the strings. Rather, it should have something that is. So now my array list should only contain object of student. So let me do that and let me insert student into this array list. So I'm creating object of student using the constructor. So you see I've inserted a new student and that student is having a row number as 1 and name is Sam. Okay. Now let me add 4 more students. The row number now I'm giving is 45 and the name I'm giving is Aaron, and then row number is 5. The name is, let's see, row number again is 7. So you see I've created 5 students. Now let me try to call collection sort method on this list. Okay. Let me remove this code and let me call collections dot sort. Okay. Fair enough. You see, as I'm doing sort, this is giving me a compile time exception. Why so? It's saying me cast argument A list to list T. So if I did that, then also it's giving me an error. Well, the error that it's giving me is because now my A list actually contains student, and the sort method that is there in a collections can only take up strings. So that's why it is giving me an error of incompatible argument type. That is, I'm passing the array list of student. Okay. I can fix that using either a comparable interface or using a comparator interface. So we have already studied in theory what these two are. Let's now try to implement it. Let's try to implement comparable interface. So if I do, implement comparable interface to the class for which I'm creating my array list, I would be able to override its method. Okay. And which method comparable interface has, I need to override is compare to. So if I do compare to, then compare to will actually take up the object which needs to be compared. So since this object is rather of student, so what I can do is I can generify this comparable of a student. So now compare to will also contain student object. So now I can compare student by either maybe a roll number or a name. I would like to compare them by name. So if I do dot and then I can do compare to and I can pass another string to that. So another string would be okay, and let me return this only because this is what I want to return, the output. This will actually compare, so this will help the sort method to do a comparison. So now you can see as soon as I did this, this is not giving me an error. Fine, now let me try to print this. Okay, since I want to print everything, I want to print the complete A list. So now you can see I'm printing roll number and the name. So if I do that, so it's giving me roll number and name sorted, but the sort is done on name since I have sorted through name, since I have used name in compare to. Now if I want to change it to sort through row number, I can even do that. So then instead of using, compare to, I can actually do like, this dot row number. So you see I'm actually comparing to row number and I want to return the result. So now you see I've changed the definition of compare to, and since now I'm comparing the integers, that's why I'm using if else. And if my this dot row number is greater than row number, then I'm returning a positive value. You can return any positive value. I'm returning 1. So you think that the output that you should get from compare to method should be same. That is that your current object something, if it is greater than the one that you are passing in parameter, then you should return a positive value. If it's less, then negative. If it is same, then 0. So now if you try to run this example, then this will get sorted through row number. Okay. Now this was about comparing with a comparable interface. Now let's quickly do also a comparison with comparator interface. So I'm going to just do the changes over here itself. Instead of comparable, I'm using comparator. So since I'm implementing comparator, I need to, put int compare, and then I can pass 2 of the student's object over here. Fine. So you see what I have done is I have actually created a comparator. I have created a different class which is known as row number comparator, and it does implement comparator interface. Okay. Similarly, I can also do name comparison. So earlier when we were comparing comparable, we were only able to do one thing, either name or row number. So I have to remove the code for name when I was doing roll number, but using comparator you can compare both the things. So when I'm comparing, the name, I can simply write the code to compare name. So just changing the argument. Okay, now return s1 dot name dot compare to s2 dot name. So this will simply give the comparison. Now to compare the row number over here, I'm writing a comparison for row number. If s1 dot row number is greater than s2 dot row number, then return 1. Else if s1 dot row number is less than s2 dot row number, then return -1. So since I have written both the comparator, now what I can do is when I need to do a comparison, I can call sort by passing a list and the thing I want to compare. Let's say I want to compare to row number. Let me create a object for my class that would be a row number comparator. I'm just correcting the naming convention because this should be in a capital case. So I'm actually creating a object of my row number comparator over here, and now I'm actually passing this object over here. So if I do that and I try to run my code, you see that all the students get sorted through roll number. Fine. Now if I want to sort through name, then I can do that without removing any of the code. Within a same code, I can even, sort it through name. So for that, I just need to create a name comparator. So if I do create a name comparator and I pass that object of name comparator along with the agelist in the sort method, then it will actually compare on the basis of name. So you see now the output would be comparing and sorting on the basis of name. So this is how you can do sorting whenever you have your predefined class and you want to do sort on an array list having a predefined class. Okay guys, thank you very much. This was about which were array list, linked list and vector. We have actually implemented did some of our programming for these and also seen the difference between these. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Well, so this was about the list interface. I hope so you have enjoyed the tutorial. In the next, we'll start with a different collection type. Okay, thank you.